Dear movie friends, I am so excited to welcome you to my brand new podcast, Sincerely Your Movie Friend. I don't know if you guys realize this, but every single download, every single view on YouTube or on social media, every single cent we are earning by you just watching or listening to this podcast, 100% of that is going to be donated to charity. Everything we're doing in this podcast is for a good cause. And I'm so excited to welcome you to our very first episode, truly a special one. I have Brandon Davis, host of the Phase Hero podcast, an incredible journalist, a journalist I've been following for years, and I'm so honored to call him a friend. This conversation that you guys are about to see literally took place an hour after we both were one of the first people ever to watch the brand new Superman movie. If you're watching this or listening to this, it means we are finally free of the Superman embargo and we can finally talk about it. So sit back, enjoy the conversation. Remember, just by watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, wherever you are helping us donate to a great cause. So thank you very much. Without further ado, enjoy the very first episode of Sincerely Your Movie Friend.
So, we just watched Superman. Oh, we just did the thing. We just watched Superman. All right. So, we're not supposed to be talking about it, but when everyone's watching this, it's fair game. So, what do you think? You want to give it a out of 10?
An out of 10?
Right off the bat?
Oh, I don't know if I'd give it out of 10 yet. It's high though, really high. I need to we literally just watched a couple hours ago.
Yeah, fresh on the mind.
It's very high out of 10. Yeah, like Cali weed out of 10.
Yeah,
can I say that?
You can say that. I'm like, man, this is one of those movies where I really have to sit down and debate. Like, is recency bias real?
That was what I asked myself when I walked out of the theater.
It's like, is it because like we got to watch it on Warner Bros. Lot, which I think is always a special thing. I've never done that before. I know you've done many of screenings in many of locations.
With
Justice League,
and I was like, that was fucking awesome.
Oh no!
And then I sat with it for a bit, and I saw it again in London, and I was like,
maybe not.
Maybe I was also brand new.
Yeah.
It was my first time watching a movie on the Warner Brothers lot. I went to the set for that movie.
Oh yeah.
But the Snyder Cut was good.
I like the Snyder Cut.
Snyder Cut was really good.
It was good.
Yeah.
I'm such a positive reviewer. Like, that's my thing. Like, I love being positive.
I like to like stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a movie. Like, I want it to be I want it to be the greatest thing in the world. And I also understand that not every movie's meant to win an Oscar. So it's okay. But because I'm so positive generally, that gets in my head to where is this me just being positive, or is it legitimately amazing?
No. It's also comment sections. It's hard to sometimes it's hard to not be what are people going to say about what I say?
Yeah.
In this day and age. But now I've just got to a point where you just whether it's people in the industry, people in comment sections, anything in between, I've just had to reach a point of I'm going to be the most authentic version of what I can say here. Everybody always likes to say oh, you're sucking up to a studio, or
no, there's always positives.
Dude, I like to when I don't like something, I'm honest about it. I just don't harp on it.
Yeah.
And then when you don't like something, then people are mad at you for not liking it either way. So it's a lose-lose.
I've given one bad review in the last couple years.
I didn't love Ironheart.
You didn't like it? Oh, I've only seen the first 2 episodes. It just dropped the night before.
So by the time people are watching this, the finale's out there. Yeah. The finale's amazing.
Is it?
I didn't really care that much for everything. And I was excited for Ironheart. But then I even review Ironheart. People who don't watch the video are like, you're a shill. And the people who do watch video and see me say, I didn't say it's bad. I just said I didn't like it as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, you hate it. You suck. And I'm like,
yeah. And or the best ones, if you are negative, you say one thing, it's why does Disney work with this guy? There's so many
give it
what
to
do you want?
Appreciate it.
My
if
favorite.
I did appreciate it, then you'd be mad at me. If I have a criticism, then it is.
My favorite thing was with F1. I dropped a review on Instagram, and I loved F1 the movie. I know you just mentioned off camera that you hadn't seen it. I loved it. I was expecting to love it.
I think you're one of the people I saw who are influencing me to have to go see it because you loved it.
Let's go. I think I need to put that on my resume. Influence.
Have
Brandon
you yelled
Davis.
at your wife about F1 yet?
No, but it's coming. It's coming. But
you have to watch Ricky Bobby before watching F1.
You know what? I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen Talladega Nights?
No. Oh my God. Jenks is off camera and he's giving me the look. I'm sorry. I am sorry.
I got it.
Listen, I have a flight tonight.
Don't you put that evil on me.
I promise I'll watch it on my flight home tonight.
The flight from here to Texas is long enough.
Yeah, I promise I'll watch it. I have enough time to watch the 3rd episode of Ironheart and watch that movie.
Third episode of Ironheart is the best of the first three, so you're in for a treat on that flight.
But I posted a review for F1, and it my movie reviews on Instagram do not blow up, but it shot up to 200, 300,000 views for a movie review is crazy.
That's good stuff.
And I think it's probably because the positive energy.
Yeah.
It's a little overwhelming sometimes, but it works. And then Warner Bros. Turned it into an ad. Those are the comments that are the kicker.
Did they whitelist it for you? Do you get paid for that? Well, we can talk about that off camera. I don't know. I'm kidding because when somebody wants to whitelist something, you gotta pay for that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after.
Yeah, but sometimes they just do it though without asking.
Sometimes they just do it. Sometimes, to be honest, though, sometimes especially if it's studio that I don't have that much experience with, I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's I'll say I've done that once where I've accepted a payment for it one time.
I mean, listen, it's our job.
Huh?
It's our job.
Yeah.
I know everybody gets weird about I got paid to do something.
Yeah, well, I just don't like saying what the movie was for.
But you didn't get paid to say it was good. You said it was good, and then they pushed it.
And then they pushed it.
They pushed it.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Either way, it's they chose to push it.
Exactly, but it's my entire comment section is paid. The best one is the F1 movie account on TikTok.
How dare you like a movie that has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes?
I know, but the TikTok, they didn't collab with me on TikTok, and so it's just F1 movie and it's just my video, and so people are like, oh, it's paid. It's who's gonna believe a review from the F1 account? And then I would go in the comments and be like, no, I posted it first. It's genuinely a good movie. And they're like, no, they posted it first. I'm like, can we not read timestamps anymore?
Bro, look at the world. The illiteracy's got to be at an all-time high.
Hey, listen, all I know is they can say whatever they want. They did not get to watch Superman today.
So here we are.
Oh
my god,
that movie's incredible. Let's dive in. So we won't do spoilers. Maybe we'll do spoilers at the very end, and then I'll make that a separate bonus thing. Okay. We'll see. For after the movie.
I'm trusting you with this content.
Dude, I know
Warner
this is.
Will find me. They know where I live.
I get a week to blackmail Brandon Davis.
Yeah. If you don't do this, I will post your review.
Our embargo is July 7th at 9 p.m. my time. I'm gonna post at 8:59.
Oh, you're gonna beat me to my own review, you son of a. Nah, that's fair.
It's for charity. That is why we're here.
What charity does this go to?
Do you have one specifically?
Do I have one?
Yeah, I kind of want to find one with hope. Growing up, I used to always tie Superman with children's hospitals.
I've done Vanderbilt Children's Hospital stuff.
Yeah,
because it's local in Nashville.
I think I remember Superman Return ads with the do you remember the old was it Jude Hospital? St. Jude
yeah.
with the old one with Jennifer Aniston and all the big A-listers.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that for the first time I think before Superman. So I've always just attached them. So that's where I think
good on you for doing that.
Well,
for doing this.
It's one of those if we're talking about something that's supposed to inspire hope, we have this great platform, and a lot of times honestly there's a lot of work that we do that we absolutely deserve to get paid for 100%.
Yeah, sure.
But also when we're talking about someone else's work, I was always
that's how I feel sometimes. When I go to a movie premiere, I feel that sometimes.
Yeah,
I have nothing to do with this movie.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of felt what can I do that's good with my platform that also honors the movies in a different way.
That's good.
So that's the goal. So I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate you doing this.
Dude, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. But is it crazy to say? So my biggest thought after watching this movie was that I think this is what the 1978 was that when the original came out? Christopher Reeve's movie. I think this was everything that movie hoped it could be, just couldn't be at that time.
It recaptures that spirit and that energy, and then puts the modern technology on it.
Right.
Yeah. It's
beautiful. I cried 4 times.
Happy tears too.
Yeah.
Not
genuine
even oh, someone died, I'm crying.
No.
Just this is a beautiful moment tears.
Yeah.
Not typically what I cry over in a movie.
No, there's just so many genuine things of just it was the first time I honestly felt I connected to Superman.
I've never watched Superman on screen and looked up and been I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Until this movie. It made me look at what Clark has and what Superman has and who he is as a person, between the admiration of his peers, the ability to just be so pure and good to help people. Beautiful girlfriend doesn't hurt either.
That you know what? That's a little bit of a perk.
That's I mean, but I just look and just who he is as a person. I was dude, I feel I want to be that guy. And growing up, it was when I was an angsty teenager, I wanted to be Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Very different type of role model.
Yeah.
And now I'm watching this. This is the first time I felt that way. Now I like to think I'm a mature adult. I looked at David Cornsweet's Superman. I was like, this is a good dude. I want to be him.
Yeah. I can't like say enough how perfectly he brought that character
He
to the
took
screen.
it. He's like, this is my character now.
Yeah.
And this is coming from somebody. I love Henry Cavill's Superman.
Oh yeah.
I do. I really do.
It's just very different.
Couldn't be more different.
Mm.
It's a completely different thing, and I think Cornsweet just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. I can't wait. The thing that made me really excited though is like he nailed like the happy-go-lucky Superman. Like what the hey? Like he nailed it. What I'm really, really looking forward to is seeing now him get pushed in the future. Because I can't I think it's like, okay, you got the foundation now. I can't wait to see you like stretch this.
It like made you root like there. He did struggle in this movie. He didn't have it easy in this movie.
That's why it's so. It was the first time I actually felt like I could connect with him.
Yeah, and it was just like I found myself rooting for him.
Yeah,
in a way that not every superhero movie makes me root for a character these days. It made him so human.
Yeah,
and not just because I don't want to spoil anything.
No, I will say like without like spoiling like the why or the how. This is also the smartest I felt like they've used kryptonite. My biggest pet peeve.
That was clever.
Is just like how like, oh well, kryptonite just happens to be in the core of the earth, like in the tunnels or whatever. I'm like, how could this be possible? And that's part of the reason why like I can never connect with Superman. I was like, you had to place his weakness somewhere, and you have to give me some like BS reason as to why it's there.
And I thought going into the movie, I was like, are we going to get black kryptonite that's going to make him go bad or something?
Oh,
because
man.
of the All-Star Superman having that be invented and that kind of is his weakness for a while and puts the mortality on him and everything. Or no, he was made mortal because he flew into the sun. But then the black kryptonite, I think, poisoned him. I don't remember off the top of my head. I read the book today and then I left it on the plane. So I didn't finish it for the
I felt so sad because I saw that tweet when you tweeted in the plane. I was like, he's going to take a picture with James Gunn.
Saw James Gunn today.
Yeah, James Gunn photobombed Jenks and I, who's off camera. Jenks and I's photo today.
Oh, hell yeah!
Yeah, that was good.
Did you know when you took the photo? He
was like,
look at it
if you go on my page, you can see like the carousel. There's a picture of Jenks and I by the Superman photo, and then James Gunn is walking to the side.
Oh, hell yeah,
the next picture is Jenks like literally pointing at him.
That's funny.
And then the third one's him with us. So
that's great. Hell yeah! James Gunn's a really nice guy.
He is really nice.
He seems exhausted.
Oh, I bet this is the most draining. This has to be like 10 times more draining than Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, there's also so much more pressure on this than Guardians of the Galaxy.
So much more pressure.
And I don't think he did like a world tour like he's doing.
No.
When he did any of the Guardians movies. Maybe one, but I still don't think then. Like they were in Rio yesterday?
Yeah, Rio yesterday. Crazy. I'm glad you said the pressure thing though. Because man, with all that pressure, the way he still delivered. And it's like there's moments where you're like, this is James Gunn. Like this is like
there's some laughs that are very James Gunn.
There's a sequence that like I saw at the very beginning of like the sequence and I was like, oh, this is going to be an iconic like James Gunn like signature like sequence.
You're talking about Terrific?
Oh yeah.
I went to the bathroom for that scene.
No, you didn't.
I walked in, it was ending, and everybody clapped. It seems to have been the best part of the movie, and it was the 1.5 minutes of the movie I actually just couldn't hold my pee in for. I heard it compared to Guardians. Yeah.
Oh man!
And I saw like the final 20 seconds of it, the part that was in the trailer, and I heard the comparison. I won't spoil what the comparison was, but it seems like there's a clear Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 scene that it can be compared to.
Yeah.
I guess I got to watch the movie again. No! But I that was the only part of the movie that everybody actually like besides the title, that the whole theater clapped for during the movie until it ended.
Mr. Terrific is one of the best parts of the
Steel scenes.
Whole movie. I mean, he is like I'm not a big like DC guy. Comic wise, I'm married to Spider-Man. Like that's like that's always my parents weren't like big like comic people. So like I would go to Barnes and Noble and that's where I would read my comics. And it was always like I'd choose Spider-Man. So that's my experience with it. So I knew nothing about Mr. Terrific. I try not to be
Did you watch Arrowverse stuff?
I've never seen it, so I knew nothing, and I try not to be one of those creators who's gonna like pretend to know.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I don't consider myself like a DC Comics expert. I've read a bunch, but there's still, there's so many comics that I don't even pretend to know, even close to.
But coming into like blind, not knowing a thing about him,
dude, he looked like straight up Alex Ross art brought to life.
It was so cool. He was so cool.
And Alex Ross got thanked in the credits actually. That's my favorite comics artist. He does like hyper realistic designs. His stuff is sick. He's done Marvel and DC. You've probably read an Alex Ross Spider-Man book, or I don't know if he's on Spider-Man specifically, but he's drawn Spider-Man. But maybe
he's probably worked on something that I've read.
Yeah, probably. I think he's my favorite artist. Yeah, did a lot of Captain America. He's done the Avengers. Yeah.
I love that character. I think he's one. The more I watch this movie, I think the more I'm gonna be like, he's might be one of, if not the best. No, I can't say he's the best part of the movie, but he's dang up there.
Oh, I want the Hot Toys figure.
Oh, you do have a crazy Hot Toys collection.
Oh, this is where you know what's funny is when Black Adam came out, I bought a Henry Cavill Superman. Finally, I caved, and I was because
you thought like this is gonna be worth something.
Yeah, well, I have a huge MCU collection. My like I have over. I just got my 107th Hot Toys figure.
107? I can't calculate that.
So
should we calculate that?
I have a spreadsheet of how much it's all worth too. But great, I don't buy. I work with Sideshow. Yeah. They've sent me. I'd say 3/5 of my collection to review and unbox and make content about.
Yeah.
But I had at the time, I'd say 70 figures, 65 of which were Marvel, maybe a couple Star Wars in there, but it was almost entirely a Marvel collection. I didn't start DC because I was like, I don't believe there's vision at DC. I think it could get rebooted at any time. I don't want to start buying Batman and Superman, even though I like these characters, especially Ben and Henry. But after Black Adam, I finally bought the Henry Cavill Superman, and like 2 days after it arrived from eBay, like I bought this one. This wasn't like one that Sideshow sent me to the box.
Yeah,
I put it back in the box and I sold it. I put it back on eBay, and now I'm like, because I have a Heath Ledger Joker. I have a couple things that aren't like still going, but I like to keep the collection based on things that are still going and growing.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely starting a DC Universe Hot Toys collection.
Dude, that David Corn Sweat, Hot Toy is gonna be.
I'm gonna. By the time this airs,
that might be my first Hot Toy.
It's here.
Oh,
I'm bringing it Friday. Oh. I mean, I don't have it in my room. Like it has arrived in LA, and I'm bringing it to the cast, and I'll be the first person. Well, as long if you didn't see the video yet, because I'll post it before this is posted. That means it got cut, but I got approval from Hot Toys, Sideshow, and like a 90% approval from Warner Brothers as of right now to do like a first reveal of the Superman Hot Toys figure.
Oh, so I cannot wait.
Hoping that 10% comes through. I need it in writing before they'll bring it to the event, but I want that figure.
That's always so stressful. I've only done a couple of press junkets, and every single time I'm always so sad because I always come up with like a fun game, and it gets like 90% of the way there. And then
every time.
That's my problem. Like all my fun stuff gets cut last second, and then I'm left with like the really like detailed like questions, which are good questions. But
games would perform better on social media.
Yeah,
a lot of times.
That's what I'm saying. Like
a viral moment.
I'm a creator. Like I'm not a journalist. Like you got to lean into my world. Like I can do it. Like I know like the film industry. Like I can ask like the detailed, really deep questions.
Yeah.
Problem is probably only like a third of the people are going to appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's also like unless you're asking a question that's as good as what Kevin McCarthy is asking.
Yeah,
people just don't really pay attention. So you just have to have an interesting hook immediately. And asking a question is rarely a good hook.
My favorite question I asked was actually in the Elio press junket. I asked the art supervisor. I was like, "This is gonna sound real stupid, but please stick with me. How important is color to movies like this?" But he gave me like this beautiful answer.
Animators are amazing.
Because it was like
Pixar
this whole
people are amazing.
Yeah, and I was like, "There's this whole because I knew it. I saw 25 minutes of it. And I was like, they're doing this whole like color contrast.
Did you go to San Francisco?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was like, they're doing this.
Yeah.
They're doing this like whole color contrast thing. I was like, there's storytelling in color. Like it's important. And it was a great conversation, but I knew I was like, no one's gonna watch this though.
Yeah, it's interesting how you try to get a hook on something, and like I don't know. Kevin McCarthy has questions that I learned something about the movie before he even finishes the question, so I end up watching. For the most part, like you could ask a good question, but people see our faces and they're like, I don't know what this is.
What's your
juju? You know, you're so famous as a creator that people stay tuned for you.
Yeah, freaking love Juju.
Good guy. Shout out Straw Hat Goofy.
Straw Hat Goofy. Probably the reason why most movie creators are movie creators, to be honest.
He is what Juju's creating is unprecedented. Like he's leading the charge. He's blending journalism and content creation and influencing all in one, which I think is the future. And what did you see his juke joint and everything?
Dude, yeah. Dude, such a vibe.
What he's created, and he couldn't be a nicer guy.
No,
he genuinely is. Like I've never heard anybody say something bad about him. I've never had a bad encounter. One of the nicest people.
Everyone I've talked to says he's one of the nicest people on earth. Yeah. And this was not planned. So Juju, enjoy this.
Yeah.
All
right, glaze over. Cut.
But like I was actually, we were talking about it, but I was like, one of the things that like means the most to me is like he actually like takes effort to like get to know you and like what you work on.
He like pays attention to watch. I think that's what makes him such a good content creator too, though.
Mhm.
Like I because I worked in press until August of last year. I'm coming up on a year of doing this independently, and now I'm almost entirely on the content creator side, and I still do junkets sometimes classified as press, but I publish it like a content creator would because I have a website. But I forget what I was even going to say.
Brandon Davis is a contentcreator.com.
Hey, that domain just went. I forget what I was even going to say. I don't remember. I lost my train of thought.
Well, I'll jump into like the press stuff. Do you have like one interview that stands out there? Like, this is like my crown jewel.
I mean, what comes to mind is The Rock.
Oh,
I grew up a huge fan of The Rock, and that was an instance where
you're a big wrestling guy too.
Huge wrestling guy.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up a huge fan of The Rock, grew up a huge wrestling fan, and now I'm wrestling.
Yeah.
And
crazy, by the way.
Dude, yeah,
awesome.
Actually.
Like crazy.
But like he's one of those meet your heroes, lives up to the expectations type deals. Because I'll never forget the first time I sat down with him, like it was him and Kevin Hart sat next to each other. Yeah. And he comes so prepared. This was for
is it their spy movie?
No, it wasn't. It was in Hawaii, so I think it was the first Jumanji.
Okay, yeah.
And then I did Kevin and Dwayne again with Jack Black for Jumanji 2, I think. It was the three of them.
Yeah.
I've interviewed Dwayne I don't know how many times now. Like, he's a good dude. And he actually, like, if you go through my messages, like, he talks to me about wrestling. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, I'm good friends with The Rock.
Yeah.
But he's genuinely a dude who pays attention, who's
wants
thoughtful.
to help you. Yeah.
And in my experience, has always been, like, Meet Your Heroes lives up to and exceeds the expectations. So that's probably my favorite.
Do you think you'll ever have him on Face Hero one day?
I don't know if he'll ever do Face Hero because he's artsy now.
Yeah,
he's
going for the Academy Award.
Scorsese guy.
Yeah.
Good for him, man. I mean, I think after Black Adam, that was probably tough.
Yeah,
he bet on himself with Black Adam. He bet on the movie. He bet on the
one of the coolest Hall H presentations.
Sick, yeah. And I liked Black Adam. Was it the best movie ever? No. Was it terrible? No.
Good grab your popcorn movie though.
Yeah, and he brought Henry back.
Yeah,
I was like, cool.
That is true.
Yeah, but it is what it is. That whole thing was such a mess. That Warner Brothers and DC were so disjointed at that point.
Yeah. Well, it's on the right track now.
Oh my God, is it on the right track? Are we back to Superman? Did we just come back?
We're full circling Superman.
Wait, have you had celebrity encounters yet? Like
I've had like random celebrity encounters. So like I've never done a press junket with an actor or an actress. Okay. I've only done like the directors, which by the way,
so who's your favorite director? Like who that you've got to talk to?
I've actually did really like Domichi with Elio. She was the last one I did. Gosh, I loved the Justin and Aaron for Daredevil Born Again. That was really cool.
Oh yeah, they're such a good interview.
Yeah,
like those guys love Daredevil.
And you know I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so actually on this like in the Sincerely
John Watts?
No, I didn't. But in the Sincerely movie friend lineup, I'm interviewing Jeff. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Jeff Tremmel.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun. Or that's going to be fun. Yeah. I haven't filmed it yet, but I'm excited about that one specifically.
The show's so good too.
It's so good.
The interviews are always better when the thing is actually good.
The biggest like icebreaker for me though, like interview-wise, it's thank God for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Brad Winderbaum.
Bro,
I was so nervous.
Bro, he is like, I love talking to Brad.
I was so nervous to talk to him. He was for the Daredevil Born Again junket. He was the one I was most nervous about. And then first thing, I walk in the room. He
probably watched your content.
Exactly. He's like, dude, no, they're like, this is Berkan. He's like, no, I know who he is. I've been watching his friendly neighborhood Spider-Man reactions. And so afterwards, he just pulled me in a corner.
Well, you're also there for a reason. They don't just pick people. Willing, like these are people like the people involved like pay attention and they'll suggest, like sometimes a publicist will just be like, oh, they have numbers, they'll find somebody, but a lot of times people are like pretty involved in who gets to interview them.
Yeah,
Brad is one of those people. Brad is like, he loves this stuff.
Yeah, he was the nicest person. And then at the premiere I was actually able to introduce like Jenks to him too. And I was like, I felt like it was the comfort that like he just gives off, which was really cool.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
But no, I haven't had any crazy like planned celebrity interactions.
Sure.
I almost fell to my knees at CinemaCon when I accidentally ran into Cynthia Erivo. That was because like at CinemaCon, like you've been to CinemaCon. You've been to CinemaCon. It's hard to find a place to make content, and so like I found
CinemaCon,
it's a lot, and I found like this little corner like outside the theater, and I didn't realize that that's where all like the celebrities would come through, and so I was literally making a video about Wicked for Good, and then she's just like she's there, and I was like, ugh.
Oh, I think I saw this video. She walked by.
Yeah, she walked by.
Recording. Did you say something about your wife or something?
Yeah, because what happened was
I was like, loves you or something.
Yeah, well, so what happened was like I asked her, I was like, do you mind if I take a picture? And so she's like, yeah, of course, like super nice. And I reached over to my phone, and then like in slow motion, I was like, wait, this is the most selfish thing I've ever done. My wife listens to Wizard and I every single day, multiple times. I can't make this moment about me. So instead of the selfie, I just turned and I was like, I need to tell you that my wife loves you. Like we watch it all the time. So that's what that moment was. People got mad at me for like pointing at her, but she was like walking away, and I was like talking with my hands.
On the internet mad?
What's new?
Unheard of.
So
How dare you offer a compliment?
That was the craziest one that probably my wife still hasn't forgiven me for, but
my mom is like desperate to meet Pedro Pascal.
I'm a little bit desperate to meet Pedro Pascal.
She wants to meet him so bad, and I was like, maybe Fantastic Four premiere. I mean, we'll see.
We'll see. My
mom lives in my house now.
Yeah,
and she's been living in my house for a while, so leaving the house is kind of my alone time. But yeah. I'm not gonna not bring her to Fantastic Four if she can get off work.
Yeah, that's the dream. We're manifesting that one. If I ever meet Emma Watson in any capacity, my wife knows. She's like, that's the one person I've always been very open about my celebrity crush. It's always been Emma Watson since I was a kid. That's never gonna change. So man, that's the one.
What does she have coming up?
Nothing. She's like, I don't think she's in it. She stepped away from like the spotlight.
Good for her.
I know.
Your life.
But I miss seeing her in movies.
Sounds like you miss seeing her.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. She's a great actress.
I like Emma Watson a lot. Oh yeah, we all have a celebrity crush.
Oh yeah. Do you have a celebrity crush?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've got a couple. I mean,
do you want to reveal your celebrity crush? I mean, have you met your celebrity crush?
Who I think is the most beautiful person on the entire world, who's also like people don't appreciate her enough.
Huh.
And she's also talented and very nice, like truly a really nice person. Danielle Melchior.
Oh yeah.
I think she is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so talented. But yeah, I'm a simple man. She shows up on Instagram, I hit like
Jenks
without fail.
Jenks and I were at CinemaCon, and we were walking in a hallway. I can't say her name for the life of me, Jenks, but Ana de Armas. Yeah, we were walking by, like, and again, like, I'm not gonna pretend like I know like her work, her catalog. Like, obviously she's a very beautiful person.
Yeah,
but we were
No Time to Die. She had that standout scene, but
yes, yeah, and so and Knives Out. She was incredible in Knives Out.
Great Knives Out.
But we were walking in CinemaCon in the hallway, and it was just her security guard, and Jenks and I, and we were crossing paths, and she was like, "Hey guys," or "Hey." I felt my soul leave my body, and I was like, I did not expect that to happen.
I was on the set of Avengers Infinity War. And I went to craft services, and I'm scooping mashed potatoes onto my plate, and then I go to put it back, and I hear, "Can I have that?" And I look over, and it's Scarlett Johansson in her Black Widow costume. I dropped the ladle. I passed out. I fell over. Put myself back together. Handed
my
it to
dad's
her.
listening to this. He probably passed out. He loves Scarlett Johansson
in the Black Widow outfit too. I almost fell out of my soul. I don't even
a beautiful person.
About it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's a legend.
Do you speaking of Marvel, do you have a favorite Marvel movie?
Oh God, you can't do that to me. I mean, it depends what side of the bed I wake up on.
Okay.
Like it could be Guardians 1.
Okay.
It could be Avengers 1. It could be Infinity War is a better movie than Endgame, but Endgame's the best theatrical experience.
I watched Endgame on the flight here, and I cried.
Dude,
I was like,
Endgame. I was very lucky to go to the Avengers Endgame premiere. Truly, one of the best days of my entire life, without a doubt. It was just, I was definitely very lucky to do media stuff in what I think is the golden age of having been in media, which is when the MCU was at its peak. And I think a lot of people in media, I discussed this with some people. I'm sure some people who don't like Marvel disagree, but a few of us who were like part of that run and got to do every Marvel junket and everything, like that was such a unique time in media, and it really all.
That's when I first started seeing your content.
Dude, Walking Dead was my thing, and then Marvel. I noticed that Walking Dead the ratings were slipping. I rode Walking Dead till the wheels came off. When I was working at the site, and then while I noticed the Walking Dead was going downhill in ratings, and less people were consuming content and stuff, I was like, all right, I need to find another thing that I can be genuinely interested in covering, and it was Marvel. And that Endgame premiere was just like everybody was there, like every actor in the world just walking by, just casually talking to people too. I got to meet Robert Downey Jr. that night very briefly. Got to see like everyone. That's the only interaction I've ever had with Downey to this day. And I just went up to him. It was like I said, dude, I just want to say hi. Your work has shaped my life. I was like, I work at a website called comicbook.com. So your work has clearly had a huge impact on my life and getting me to places like this. So I just want to say thank you. And I'm a huge fan of Iron Man, dude. And he was like, well, that's amazing, dude. Thanks for sharing. And that was the whole interaction. But I was like, that's all I needed.
Brilliant. And you know what? That's one of the moments that like make you stop and like think about like the things you get to do. That's more than 90% of the people on this earth will ever have.
It's
30J.
Me and a couple of us, I don't know. Some people don't. There's a few of us who have been like, dude, we live the lives of contest winners.
Yeah.
Like, I've said that with like influencers. I've said that with press, like especially press before COVID.
Yeah.
Like it was like trips to Hawaii, trips to Europe, trips to New Zealand. Like there was so much more going on in that phase from like 2015 to 2019. And now the influencers get a lot more of that. They do a lot of the trips, whereas press, they just go to the Beverly Hilton or the Four Seasons in LA. But there used to be like extravagant junkets, on location junkets and stuff like that for press, and some of that's coming back, but it's also expensive, and the media, the whole industry's hurting.
Do you think influencers are going to, this may be touchy, but do you think influencers are going to replace, or what do you think is the future of that? Because I personally think it's like, I think it's a mix, you know, like I think like content creators need to learn how to turn off like the energy in some ways, but keep the foundation. And then I feel like, and now again, I'm not like journalist side of things very much, but I've done things like Ask Press. So I've seen it firsthand. I think press need to also find a way to come. They both need to come meet in the middle somehow. And I think that's what it's going to be.
I think in the next 5 years, I think it's going to be faster than that.
Yeah.
I think studios right now have two entirely different departments. They have their publicity and they have their marketing.
Right.
They don't even talk to each other in most instances.
Right.
Publicity invites press. Marketing invites influencers. They're at the same events. The influencer is paid to be there by the studio sometimes. Sometimes they're just invited and their travel's paid for. The press is often traveled if they're not in LA, but they're paid by their own outlet to do the work. But the thing is, the numbers are what the studios care about.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've always wondered, like back in, say, 2018, going to Hawaii for Hobbs and Shaw. They fly 40 members of the press out there. They have a fanny pack waiting in the room with a GoPro camera. They're taking us on zip lines. They're doing all this extravagant shit. And I'd be sitting there wondering, like, none of the press are going to do anything with this that's going to reach more than 10 people.
Yeah.
And that's a hyperbolic statement. But
it's not wrong, actually, though.
It's press is not nearly as active on social media as influencers are. And that was clearly the target of the studios then. So now that GoPro and the ziplining and all that shit goes to the influencers for the most part. And the interviews largely stay with the press. But then you have crossover with both still. So I think you're going to see it crossover. And it's also beholden to the algorithms. Like I think it's the journalists are often better at interviewing. Sometimes you'll throw an influencer in who can do a really good interview, or a podcast host like Juju, who we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
His podcast is great.
Oh, so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And but there's also influencers who walk in the room and it's like the
camera
viral.
shy. They've never been in front of a camera in
the
that
viral
capacity.
clip is them being like, "Oh my god, I can't."
They don't know how to ask a question.
Can we do the "I can't believe it" OG clip? Like, "Oh geez, oh shucks, I'm meeting so and so."
Yeah,
and that works. But does it sell tickets? I don't know.
It depends though. It depends. Like if it's every single time.
You know what's a good example of this? Did you see the Mumble guy at Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes?
Yes.
Okay, I'm of the stance that I understand why he was there. And I understand why the press hate that he was there.
Right.
I don't think anybody looked bad from that. Somebody could have. Like, he could have made somebody say something that they didn't want to say and have an awkward moment on a night that's supposed to be special for the cast.
Yeah.
That went through multiple levels of approval for him to get there. I can't imagine people didn't know that was going to happen. And that guy put up more views. I'd be willing to bet that guy put up more views on TikTok alone than the rest of that red carpet combined. Probably also because people were complaining about it and quote tweeting it, and everybody has to quote tweet to show when they don't like something, which also just adds exposure to the thing you don't like. But that is a perfect example of, well, does this sell tickets? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't.
Or it's just like something that made you laugh. Like
it didn't not sell tickets.
Right.
There's nobody who saw that and said, "I'm not going to go see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes." But if even one person bought a ticket, if it takes 1 million people and then 1 out of every million buys a ticket, he got the most millions of views.
Yeah.
Granted, he's not asking good questions. There could have been a more thoughtful journalist in the spot.
But
which one sells more tickets?
Like
I don't
we
know.
said though, like sometimes though, like that's the hard thing is like for me, like when like I said, I'm very new to like the press side of things, you know.
Yeah.
I just thought of when Kristen Chenoweth was my very first interview. That
Wait,
was cool.
can I tell you?
Yes, you can. I'll get back to my thing. You can.
My friend Matt Bloyd.
Uh-huh.
He performed a song in Nashville the other day for the first time. He's a musician.
Yeah.
And I went to this show. It was a small show at a place called the Cross-Eyed Critters Watering Hole.
Uh-huh.
And he performed this song called "The Ground That Grew Me." And we met at Star Wars Celebration in Tokyo. Turns out he lives 5 minutes away from me in Nashville. So he's like, I'm releasing this song. Come out. So I go out. He does this show. It's like genuinely probably 40 people in the room. And I see this woman congratulating him. And she looks so familiar. And I was like, I started typing in like blonde country singer.
Yeah. Try to Google Lens.
I couldn't. I was like, I know this woman. Who? And I met her. I was like, hi, nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Kristen. Still didn't hit me. Still didn't hit me.
Even through all the Wicked mania we just went through.
I love Wicked. I fucking love Wicked. And then when she left, he was talking. He's like, did you see Kristen Chenoweth was here? And I was like, oh, yeah. Glenda was here.
Yeah, that was my first like interview. Now that we're talking about it, now I'm remembering like I actually have interviewed because I did Fantastic Fest. So like I interviewed Will Ferrell and Elijah Wood.
Hell yeah.
That was the first in-person interview. It was crazy. I felt bad because Elijah Wood, that was when can you sign this old picture of yourself was trending. And I gave him a picture of Daniel Radcliffe when he was 8. I was like, please don't hate me. But no, like all those times, it's like you're wrestling this like I don't want to ask a stupid question. Like I want to give you a good question that like makes you feel 100%. Like the conversation was worth it. But like again, is me asking you like a process, like a very specific detail that like an actor would appreciate as someone from who used to try to be an actor would like know, or is that something like that's worth anyone's time?
I'm never going to ask questions as good as what Kevin McCarthy's asking.
Right.
I don't have the knowledge about movies to do what he's doing. Yeah, I'm also not going to make YouTube videos that break down Easter eggs as good as Eric Voss is doing, as good as Heavy Spoilers is doing. So I find my lane. Like I just what would I find interesting? That's how I go into it.
That's really good advice. Actually,
I consider myself the target audience. Like if I would like to hear this question, and I also think like, all right, will this be a viral moment? Will this create headlines? Like, you know, all those things you're trying to check as many boxes as you can, which makes interviews very transactional.
Yeah.
But you still want to make it as human, like have a real conversation as much as you can in 4 minutes or whatever you have.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, okay, well, what I just asked Aaron Taylor Johnson the other day about the giant dick in 28 years later. Because I knew that's what people be talking about after the movie.
Real or fake?
That thing, it was fake. They used the prosthetic, and I think they used it
for everybody.
Fire hydrant.
Yeah.
Jesus. But it's like, you know, I feel silly asking that, and it was over Zoom, so I felt extra silly because you don't have like the actual rhythm of a real conversation.
Yeah.
But then that was the most viewed clip out of it. So it's like you're finding that balance, like you're saying. You don't want to ask a stupid question, but you also want to find what's going to work, because also as a content creator, media doesn't have to have forward-facing numbers when they write an article.
Yeah.
They could just say, hey, we get 25 million clicks a month, but we're not going to tell you how many articles we publish a day.
Yeah.
Content creators, every single thing you do, the numbers are forward-facing. So you need this stuff to perform in order to, A, make money and do your job, and B, get the next job.
It's crazy, like the numbers thing with content creators too, because like I've looked at the numbers. In March, I'd already surpassed 100 million views for the year in March. And I'm like,
that's insane.
It's insane. And it's so hard to like comprehend. But I was like, man, if this was 10 years ago, I wouldn't be able to walk the street. But now it's like, I don't really think anyone cares.
That's why it's going to continue changing, because being a content creator isn't as lucrative as it was before.
Right.
Because followers don't see your content.
No, they don't.
It's random people. If you make a good video, it'll reach other people. But no video is guaranteed to reach people anymore. So if you post an ad, they know.
Yeah.
Probably not going to reach people anymore.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I always feel bad when I do like an ad thing, because I'm like, and there's also like, they kind of cripple you a little bit when they're like, okay, you need to have these hashtags. I'm like, you mean the hashtags that have 6 posts attached to them?
Yep.
Like you're making me work with like a hand tied behind my back. But I'm a simple man. When I see my friends post a paid partnership in their content creator, I'm always watching it till the end. I'm hitting like if it shows up in my feed. you're a good man,
dude. It's like, why not? It costs nothing.
It costs nothing.
You know,
Yeah.
There's no competition in what we do.
Yeah.
Like nobody's in competition with each other.
No, it's only helpful.
Yeah,
it only helps.
It's all if people like you and like spending time with you, and you make good content, and you like spending time with those people, it's better for everyone.
Yeah, that was my biggest struggle actually starting as a creator. Was like I always felt like I had to compare, and like I still
it's hard.
I still compare. Like I was still like I still do it, but it was the places. You know, this is actually we're gonna tie it back to Superman. There's a great moment with Lex about like this whole idea of envy. You know?
Yes.
It's so good. And that's kind of what it felt like as the beginning of content creators. Like you're watching everybody and you're like, I can be great.
Mm-hmm.
I can do this better.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I like have the same thing? Like why can't I post a video and it immediately gets like 50,000 views when like an account like half the size does it every single time and it works. But
I used to go to I remember going to the Justice League press conference and I was like, why am I not hosting this press conference? And I remember going to Spider-Man No Way Home trailer event, and Coy Jandreau hosted it. And he did a great job. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't have the thought of like, oh, wish that was me.
Yeah.
And I do. I wish that was me. But I'm happy. I'm simultaneously happy for Coy. 5 years earlier, I would have just been jealous.
Yeah.
I had to grow up and outgrow that. In 2022, Ash Crossan hosted the Hall H panel for Marvel. And for whatever reason, we were both made aware that we were the final two options, and me and Ash
I hate when they
are
do
good
that.
friends. Saw her tonight at Superman, and we were like, well, why would you tell us that? But also, it was like a thing where everybody wanted to make sure like we're cool if the other one doesn't, and I was like, Ash, if you get Hall H, because Ash knows, like everybody who knows me knows that's the last thing on my bucket list in terms of events. I want to host a Hall H panel so bad. I've literally never hosted something at San Diego Comic-Con. I don't know why, but it is what it is.
It'll happen.
But I was like, Ash, of course do it if they call you. And if they call me, I'm gonna do it. She's like, as you should. And they called her, and I was in the crowd. When she walked out on stage, I fucking screamed.
Yeah.
Let's go, Ash Crossan.
It took me to like D23. Like D23, by the time like this past D23 came out, I was already kind of like over it because that was my bucket list event. So I was like, I made it here.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I can stop. I can relax. You know.
Good on you for feeling that because there's no light at the end of the tunnel in this space.
No.
There's no winning an Oscar and going home. Like it's
just wait. Podcasts get Emmys now.
It
could happen.
I'm curious if there will ever be a Content Creator Awards.
They're kind of like stuff that like there's some kind of awards, but not like in a big like award space or anything.
But I don't know, you have I don't know. There's VidCon and shit. Like maybe they could. I don't know.
We'll see.
Also, it's just people are going to come and go so fast. Like, how do you determine like best Instagram video of the year, best TikTok of the year?
Yeah, that's you know what. Actually,
what
that
would be
probably
the best
would work.
TikTok of the year so far?
I don't know, but that one
AI
year,
gorillas.
That's actually pretty. It's pretty clever though.
But like when that AI gorilla pops up, I end up watching it.
Yeah, it's
I know we're supposed
Yeti vlogs are crazy, but like
insane.
There's that one year where the strawberry video would have won. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's this video. It's like this one like girl. It's like 5 seconds long. She takes strawberry. She like dips in like chocolate.
Oh yeah, it got like a bazillion, like literally the most viewed.
It is the most viewed TikTok of all time. It's nuts. I can't.
Oh, what I wanted to say earlier. This was the train of thought that I lost. Is that people who are so good at this? I went to that Fantastic Four event.
Yeah.
Content creators are so good at this.
Did you meet Twin Sauce there, by the way?
Twin Sauce is who I'm
So
referencing
good.
right now.
Yeah.
I saw their notes app. I love those guys, by the way. They were also there when Kristen Chenoweth was.
They were the first. They were the first podcast episode I recorded for this.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
They have such a good attitude. Like they're just good dudes.
Yeah.
But I saw their breakdown, and I've spent a lot of time with a lot of different content creators, and I've come to see this, but never more detailed than what they have. They had literally, it had to be 20 different ideas of what to shoot at that Fantastic Four creator event. Dances, content ideas, parts of the hotel to shoot in because they researched before they came.
Crazy.
That to me is the equivalent of a journalist going into a press junket prepping questions. Content creators do that. Like people discount, they're just dancing on TikTok. They put a lot of fucking thought into that.
And
if it was that easy,
good.
everyone would do it.
The video quality looks so good.
Oh, I filmed one for them. They fucking gave me the camera. That's like that's not filmed on an iPhone.
It's crazy.
It's like a
and you know what? Another full circle moment back to like D23. That part of the reason why and I've told them this, part of the reason why like my perception changed of like creators was D23 in a sense of like it felt like the Olympics of like every creator from all different like parts of like Disney coverage or whatever were there.
Yeah.
And everyone was so nice. It was one of the most welcoming things I've ever experienced. And them specifically, I was standing by myself because there's this Agatha. It was before the first like showcase night, and we're waiting for this Agatha bus. And I didn't have
DJ.
Crazy. And I didn't have a +1 to that event, so I was literally by myself. Like my wife Allison like couldn't be there with me.
Yeah.
And they like came up to me. They like brought me in. They like and they weren't the only ones who did that. So many did. Yeah. And it's just like after that, it's like how could I ever be mad at anything like any creator does?
I have way more friends at these events than I do at home. Like way more.
Yeah. I
have friends that live in cities hundreds of miles away from where I live, thousands of miles away from where I live, way more than I have at home. Just because I'm very lucky to come to a lot of these events, see the same people at everything, spend time together, get to know each other, and then you just go separate ways. You see each other again when the next thing gets you in the same place.
I didn't like have a traditional college experience. Like I went to college, I graduated from college, but like my first 2 years was at community college. Yeah. My last 2 years, I was like, I'm going to live with like my friends, like off campus. I want to work and get a head start on like my marketing career. Cause it's a hard industry cause everyone has marketing degrees.
Yeah.
So it's like hard. And then I was figuring social out too. And so I didn't have traditional, like I never lived on a campus. Wasn't in a fraternity. I, for the first time in my life, feel like I'm part of a fraternity.
I went to South Carolina and the frats there were, I don't want to be part of them, but no, I agree with the metaphor though, because like it feels like once you get in, and this feels probably so pompous to say, I don't know how to better phrase it because I don't like it. Just feels like there's like this circle that once you're in, you get welcomed in, and like we don't get to control who's welcomed in. We can help. We can introduce our friends who are good content creators to the reps and things like that, and try to or make them a +1s. Then they can go make content. Hopefully, get their own invite to the next thing. Like once you're in, it's the same people.
Yeah.
And then you see different people. Like sometimes it swaps out.
Yeah, can't be at everything,
right? I mean, every time I open Instagram, it's Juju at a different event. I'll tell you what, he's in Soups and all these people that go. But like they have the most followers and they make the most specific content specific to the movies. Whereas Twin Sauce, for example, they'll go to Fantastic Four, they'll dance in the hotel, and that's not necessarily Fantastic Four oriented.
No,
Juju's shit is almost always. Well, sometimes he'll be dancing with Cleo and Dimitri, but
yeah.
It is
in a Powerline costume.
It is like once you're in this, once you're in this circle, like it, and it feels like a shitty way to describe it because it really isn't something that is like exclusive.
And there's no
everybody's so welcoming. It's just not.
There's no stereotypical like influencer. Like
I have had bad influence.
They're not to say that they don't exist in our space.
Yeah, but for the people who get invited to things regularly are good people.
Yeah,
because you get to know the people who work for the studio. And they want to work with people they like working with, and they trust to have it at an event and like be normal and safe and cool, and just that's it. So yeah, it is. I don't know. I feel like describing it as like a circle is weird, but it is like a thing where
it's a circle, but it's not a closed circle.
No, yeah, it's like we're all open as soon as the studios let somebody come join us. We love having new friends.
Yeah,
and that's all. I feel like I'm on the outside of the circle. Like I look up to these people who are at everything. I go to the Marvel, DC, Star Wars, blockbuster movie stuff that I get invited to, but people go to like everything. I would go to everything if I could.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's a very like it's one of those spaces where I can never be not grateful for it. There's no
pretty unreal.
It is insane. Like you said earlier, it feels like contest winners all the time.
Dude, look at what we literally. You flew to LA today. Mm-hmm. Granted, you paid for your trip.
I paid for it. Yeah, do it in a heartbeat.
And I'm not shy about it either. Like Warner Brothers flew me out.
Yeah.
There's no. Some people get like, oh, if Warner Brothers flew you out, you have to say something nice. Guess what? I genuinely love the movie, whether they flew me out or not.
Yeah.
But Warner Brothers flew me out. I watched the movie, and then I'm going to talk to the cast and go home.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people would pay $50,000 to do that?
Yeah.
Or buy a pack of Oreos that says you might win a trip to LA to see Superman, talk to the cast.
I pay hundreds and hundreds,
and they'll just buy it because that's a chance.
I would pay so much for like Comic-Cons to meet, like for a 2-second interaction.
Literally, people go to Comic-Con and spend more than what you spent to come here and see this movie tonight.
Yeah.
And meet James Gunn.
Actually, that's
James before tonight.
No, I like almost met him at CinemaCon, but he had to. It was like CinemaCon is
such a crowd. I love CinemaCon,
crazy,
but sometimes it's chaotic.
It's very chaotic.
A lot of moving pieces at CinemaCon.
It's nuts.
But like, people spend probably triple what you spent to come here tonight to meet James, get a few seconds with James where like it's awesome. You can take pictures, talk to him, say hi, tell him you love the movie probably.
Yeah.
And then go on your way. People would literally spend $1,000 to go just take a photo op with him and say nothing at a convention if he did one.
Yeah. It's truly unreal. Before I want to end this with Superman. Before I get to Superman, I want to tell you my Marvel hot takes because I'm curious if you'll shun me for them.
Here's the part where everybody gets riled up.
I get abused, but this is for charity, so I gotta like
rile them up for the kids.
For the kids. I get abused when I say that Winter Soldier is not a movie I enjoy. Now listen,
Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Now listen, when I say this,
I acknowledge abused.
I get death threats. Like people find like people like will figure out what my local theater is, and they're like, if I ever see you at this theater, it's seconds, and I'm like, do it.
That's not enough.
It's crazy. But here's my thing. Here's my thing. I acknowledge that it is a top 10 movie in the MCU, but I will never. Like, it is not in my top 10 of movies like I'd ever want to rewatch.
From the MCU?
From the MCU. It's not a movie that You said earlier, like, it depends, like, what side of the bed you wake up on. I find myself, I'm never on the side of the bed that's for Winter Soldier.
You get new sheets, fella. That's a good movie.
It is a good movie. I can't, like, there's so many others. For me, rewatchability is a huge thing.
But that movie has rewatchability.
Every time I rewatch it, I fall asleep. I tried rewatching Winter Soldier 5 times in the last like 3 months. I was like, okay, something's wrong with me. Like I have to figure this out. Movie. I fell asleep every time.
Do you like the first Avenger?
I love the first Avenger.
The Red Skull movie.
I do love the Red Skull movie.
Soldier.
I had a great time. Well, that's more nostalgia. I had a great time watching that movie with my dad.
Did you like
I was in middle school. Civil War is one of my favorite Marvel movies.
That's one of my favorites. But still, you're wrong.
I know. It's like I get abused.
I can't. I mean, I don't even know what to say other than I disagree.
I know. It's like it is
crazy take.
Again, it's crazy because I acknowledge that it's a good movie. It's like it's well shot. It's well written. Like it's great performances all around. I just don't sit down and like I'm gonna.
I mean, it's not a fun movie.
It's not even like a fun thing. Like there's so many movies that like depress me that I love. Right.
I love Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I saw Oppenheimer like 3 times in the theaters. It's just Winter Soldier. I just can't I've never seen Interstellar.
You're gonna go back in time, and be on the other side of that door, saying, "Don't say it.
Don't do it.
Don't say Winter Soldier's not good."
I never seen it, but I do know the meme.
You never seen Interstellar?
No.
That might be my number 1 movie of all time.
I know.
I think it is my favorite movie I've ever seen. It is Interstellar. I went to that IMAX re-release this year. They re-released it.
I know. Listen, I bought a ticket. The only time I could see it was 11 p.m. at night. And I bought it, and I was going to go.
It's only 3 hours
I was going to go because I was like, my motivation was I was the only ticket sold for it, for the IMAX screening.
Kevin McCarthy has an Interstellar tattoo down his forearm.
That's
the dust. Oh, it's so sick.
Oh, well, I guess I wouldn't know if that's cool. I was about to be like, yeah, that's cool.
Going so well. I can't believe you think the Winter Soldier. You don't enjoy watching the Winter Soldier, and you've never seen Interstellar.
No. Did I just lose?
And you've never seen what movies have you seen?
Listen, there's worse movie creators out there, and this person knows. I'm not going to out them, but he knows who I'm talking about. But they're I know, but that's the thing.
Like Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Like 10 times. Great movie.
All right.
There's just like some that like I just haven't like. Anyway, Interstellar. Like I was gonna be the only person in the IMAX screen. And I was like, what a cool experience.
Such a good movie.
And then I was like, I think I was traveling a lot, and I got home and I was like, I don't think I can do it because I didn't want to fall asleep because I knew I was gonna fall asleep and it would have nothing to do with the movie, and I was gonna hate myself for it. So I do need to watch it. But
such a good movie.
I
have tinnitus in my ears.
Oh yeah.
So I always hear like even right now, all hours a day if I'm awake, I hear like a high pitched ring in my ear all the time.
Oh.
So there's silent scenes in Interstellar that I'm just like, I never more in my life if I wished I didn't have tinnitus, as to just experience these scenes that are actually intended to be silent. Yeah. It's so annoying.
I feel like does that not add to it sometimes? Like with the silent, it depends on the scene. It's just annoying.
That scene in Ryan Johnson's Star Wars. Like that where they destroyed. Did you see The Last Jedi?
Yes, and I actually like
You
The
gotta
Last
ask
Jedi.
with this guy. You
I
gotta
actually, you know what? I actually like The Last Jedi. Listen.
I like Ryan.
I don't
Johnson.
like it in the trilogy. I like it like isolated. Why can't I do that?
See,
like,
that's
why
not as
can't
hot
I?
of a take. That movie has staunch defenders. Nobody doesn't like watching The Winter Soldier.
I just like it's just not like it's just not mine. It's not like not something that I'm like.
What's the next hot take?
My next one, Marvel related, and since we're on the topic of James Gunn, I love Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Don't like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
I don't think that's that hot of a take.
No, those are the two like opinions that people always destroy me for.
I like Guardians 2 quite a bit. Like I think the Yondu stuff has so much heart.
It has great moments. Like the Mr. Terrific comparison.
But I'd have it in last place in the trilogy. But that is not an insult because I hold 1 and 3 in insanely high regard.
No, yeah.
But I don't think it's bad.
It has strong moments. I just don't, for whatever reason, the story, every time I'm watching it, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm like, I get 45 minutes in, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the whole movie. Like this, it's just like, I for whatever reason, the structure of it.
Nebula and Gamora stuff in that movie.
Really it has great moments. The structure doesn't like work for me and the humor doesn't work for me.
Yeah, when he blasts Ego away and he's like, I don't know, man.
It just doesn't sit with me.
It's a pretty damn good movie.
I also really like the first two Thor movies.
I like listen, Dark World, not great, fun. Liked it at the time. I'll admit that.
I liked it in theaters. I like watching.
I like seeing it in theaters. There's a tweet out there from me somewhere where I complimented that movie when it came out. Right after I complimented Dark Knight Rises as well.
I don't like. It's very rare for me to see a movie in theaters and like it, and then later not like it. To be honest, there's only like a couple.
I mean, I liked the first Fantastic Four when it came out because I was like, I don't know how old you are. I'm probably older than you, but I was like,
I was in the second grade when Fantastic Four came out.
I was how old was I? 2005, right?
Yeah,
I was like 14, 13. Yeah, I was 13. So whatever, 6th, 7th grade.
Yeah.
I loved that movie when I was a kid. So now, as an adult, like I have that nostalgic, appreciation for it. Now, Fan 4 Stick, I don't have that.
Nope. Ooh,
I don't have that.
Brutal.
Yeah,
brutal.
I thought he was gonna be like, that movie's underrated.
Yeah, that movie's great. It's underrated. No, brutal.
I have it right next to Morbius on my shelf. I love to rewatch both before I go to bed.
The only two movies I can actually think of that I'm like, oh no, was Meet the Robinsons. Loved as a kid, but I have a good reason to not like Meet the Robinsons. So when I growing up, I used to spend my summer in Turkey. And so one summer, my grandpa bought me bootlegs of Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, Spider-Man 3, and then Meet the Robinsons. Now, this is a big deal because those movies... Meet the Robinsons? You don't know Meet the Robinsons?
I know Meet the Robinsons. Wait, what?
It's a Disney animated film.
Okay, yeah.
And so, so those are the 3 movies they bought me.
I don't think I've seen it, though.
They hadn't... you're not missing much.
Listen, hit us with an Owen Wilson wow in the back.
No, listen, I loved it growing up. It was one of those movies, though, like that summer, those were the 3 movies I had that were in English. And it was cool because they weren't technically out on DVD yet. Yeah. I watched those movies to death. Because I spent my summer there, so those were my 3 movies. Spider-Man 3, still love. I've probably seen Spider-Man 3 more than anybody you know. Still love that movie. Not because it's a great film, just because I love it because it's fun. But Meet the Robinsons was the one of the 3 movies they bought me that every single time. I liked it less and less.
The movie I loved as a kid that was like I think even hated at the time was Ang Lee's Hulk from like 2002 maybe.
Yeah,
it's a scary. It is pretty. Hulk is scary in that movie.
Yeah,
Eric Bana's Hulk is scary, but I love that. I was so excited for that movie as a kid. I think I was in like 4th grade.
I'm also very afraid to watch Multiverse of Madness again because the first time I enjoyed it, the second time I liked it significantly less. So I'm like the third time I'm like I don't want to do it to it.
It's an okay movie for me.
Yeah,
the disrespect to WandaVision is brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. But you don't. So do you have like? I'm sure you don't have like a Winter Soldier level take, but something you get flamed for every time you bring up.
I mean, I'm Team Iron Man. People get annoyed when you even bring that up, though. Regardless,
I'm Team Iron Man, but I love Spider-Man, so
you're forgiven.
There we go.
Let's see.
Banger.
All is forgiven. Oh, what would I say? Going back, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the first Avenger, Captain America: The First Avenger. I don't really care for that movie that much.
Yeah, I saw that dirty look when I said I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't really like that movie that much. It's not bad. I mean, should I? No, I won't say anything about Captain Marvel.
That movie also, I will say that movie making $1 billion is wild.
I mean, that
was that time.
Anybody who denies that it's the sandwich of Infinity War and Endgame release date blowing up the box office peak MCU, they could have released anything.
I mean, that felt like anything Disney did
Ant-Man and the
release.
Wasp did not make as much money, so
that's true.
Heard. Valid point. I don't like the first Captain Marvel very much.
Captain Marvel releasing like when people are itching for Endgame, I think is what it was.
Right, exactly.
I think that's what it was.
I don't really like to criticize Captain Marvel because I think it's already overhated.
Yeah.
But so that's why I feel shitty bringing it up. I just don't really care for that movie very much. Smart Hulk sucks.
I agree. It's not like Smart Hulk was like. That was when I remember watching Endgame. I was like, "This isn't permanent, is it?"
So far.
What do you think of Hulk in Brand New Day?
Is that true? Is that like? Oh yeah, it came out that Mark Ruffalo's in Spider-Man 4, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know either.
Punisher's there. I'm more excited for Punisher, to be honest with you. Until I know we have like a scary Hulk, I don't really care about.
I wanted it to be Daredevil universe.
I want it to be the culmination of the Daredevil, but that's what I wanted. Daredevil season 2 has a lot to wrap up.
Yeah,
because that movie is July 26, right?
July 31st, 2026.
First of all, does it make that date? Hasn't started filming yet.
No.
Daredevil Born Again season 2 probably coming out in like March. It could lead straight into it, but
it could.
I would lose my mind if they make a deal where they can get Spider-Man to appear in the end of Daredevil, though.
You think it could happen in time?
I mean,
it would have to be season 3.
Maybe because Sony is getting Punisher and Hulk and seemingly other characters as well. Because that seems.
Oh, you think it's a trade?
I mean, it that's how it worked. I interviewed Sony chairman Tom Rothman at the No Way Home premiere.
Yeah,
and I said, I forget what the question was, but the way he explained it was that when Marvel lends them a character and they lend Marvel Spider-Man for a movie. So after No Way Home, it was they owed one more Spider-Man appearance to Marvel in a non-Spider-Man movie. So
we haven't gotten that yet.
We still haven't gotten that, and we're getting another Spider-Man movie. So they're going to owe 2 appearances. Now, first you'd obviously go Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yeah,
but it could be anything. It could maybe that'll extend to TV. The thing is, I don't know. I think the way the deal works is that Sony gets the box office money for the Spider-Man movies that Marvel Studios makes, and then Marvel keeps like everything else. But I was interviewing Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal once, and I'm not kidding. If I'm remembering this correctly, it was an audio interview.
Yeah.
I asked, what's the financial breakdown of who pays for this, who gets the money? And if I'm remembering this correctly, Feige went, Brandon, we don't even talk about that. I was like, damn, Kev, okay.
That's funny. Do you think there is something in the deal though that like for every Spider-Man movie, like Sony like requires that Marvel has to put in like one of their other characters?
I wouldn't be surprised
because like it is starting to get a little bit sus.
It was Iron Man, and then it was
Doctor Strange. Now it's Hulk.
Who isn't Far From Home? Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. No, it was just Nick Fury.
Just Nick Fury and Happy.
Yeah.
And Maria Hill, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But Doctor Strange being the main one in No Way Home. Now Hulk and Punisher. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's it sweetens the deal. Sony owns the most valuable Marvel character.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you want to end this with
owns the rights anyway?
Do you want to end this with a little bit more Superman talk?
Hell yeah, we talked about everything but Superman.
we did. All right. So what are some things that you were surprised at Superman?
I was surprised just by how happy the movie made me.
Yeah,
I did not expect to be so invested in Lois and Clark.
I didn't expect. We mentioned the crying. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, their relationship. Every time they were on screen, whether it was that argument scene that was in the trailer or late in the movie when you see them together.
The argument scene. I need to see the movie a couple more times, and I need to pay attention to it from an acting perspective and then from a writing perspective.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm I think it's without a doubt the best possible written scene they could have done for that.
I'm curious if they improvised it.
I'm curious. They might have.
James Gunn just said.
Well, he mentioned it was part of their audition, so they maybe they improvised in their audition and then end up in script.
It was just so seamless. Their chemistry is insane.
But it's one of the strongest duet scenes I think I've seen in any comic book superhero movie. I think in fact it's so good. I think it's a duet scene that you're gonna see the next generation of actors they're all gonna take and use that scene. Like it is perfect.
You had to try to recapture what Christopher Reeve was doing,
Yeah.
what Lois and Clark were doing back in.
Oh, what a good
70s
contrast too.
Yeah, I was wondering when should like the you got I got you, who's you got me, who's got you moment, like is there gonna be something like that? But she already knew he was Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one of my biggest. Mr. Terrific is definitely the biggest surprise because like he's not an A-list character.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be a very, very popular character because he steals scenes. And Lex was such a dick.
Dude, perfect. The perfect dick.
Such a,
so good.
Dude, yeah. Some of the stuff with Lex, when he throws that pencil.
Oh, so good.
Oh, my God. Good. He's such a dick. He's the worst.
He has so many bars in this movie that I'm like, oh, you are.
He's got great dialogue, and he's just an asshole.
James Gunn can write a movie. I'll give him that. He can write a movie.
I never thought James Gunn was going to miss with the characters on that. He doesn't miss with characters. He'll change a few things, like change Star-Lord's dad. Boo fucking who?
Yeah. There's one change that I really love, but I don't want to say it because I think it's too spoiler, so I'll tell you after. But there's something that they do in this movie that no other iteration of Superman, and again, I'm not a big comic person. There's one change they've made that's I don't think has ever been done.
I don't know what you're talking about, but we'll talk after.
Right. I think it has something to do with Smallville. But that's all I want to go into it because I thought when I saw it in the trailer, I thought it was going to be something completely different. And I was very surprised and happy that it wasn't.
I'm blanking.
I'll tell you after. After. It's a good moment, but I think my only not even I don't have any cons for this movie. Like that's the thing. That's what I'm struggling
being
with.
Nitpicky. I felt like the pace in the beginning it just felt weird.
Yeah.
I guess it took me a second to feel like I bought in. Like it took me 20 minutes to feel fully bought in. I thought the opening scene was interesting. It was a long opening scene.
It was,
and then it kind of it's a lot of setup at the beginning. But that's me being nitpicky.
I'd seen that opening scene because they showed one before the Minecraft movie, but they showed a longer version at CinemaCon, and it was leading up to the whole crypto crying a little bit at the beginning. That's where it cut off. Versus in CinemaCon, it cut off with him screaming at the sun. Or no, I'm sorry, in Minecraft, it cut off with him screaming at the sun.
Yeah, and then,
so it wasn't being thrown into there wasn't a surprise,
right?
It being the very beginning of the movie.
Trying to nitpick.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect movie. I'm sure there's more I'll think about it. I'll digest it. Okay, this could have been, a little bit that, whatever. But
I have a rule of 3. You have to. I can't properly be this is the best movie of all time or this is a favorite iteration until I've seen the movie 3 times. Because that's I know everything.
How many times have you seen Captain America: The Winter Soldier?
7 times. I tried watching it 4 times in the last like I said, couple months. A lot. No, I don't have. I wish I could have seen some of the moments, of Lois figuring it out, and I wish I could have seen this version of these characters.
Yeah, there's earlier stuff that could have been fun, just the history, but
a montage of it. Maybe
it's
I don't
sort
know.
of like your boy Spider-Man in the MCU. It's been done before.
We've
seen it, and this feels like an iteration that would have been fresh and enjoyable to watch. But I think James was smart in saying what Marvel did was start with 1 and build out.
I agree.
We're out, and we're going to go into 1.
I agree with that, but I think it's a testament to how great they are in this film. To where it's I've so fallen in love with y'all's portrayal of these characters.
More so bad.
I want to see I want to see the moments. I want to go back and see what that was like.
Yeah.
Because I want to see how your version of the character handle. And that's actually a mistake I think Marvel's making with Spider-Man. Is I actually think it's not great that we're ignoring Uncle Ben completely. Because I want part of me was I want to see what his situation was and how he handled it.
Right.
But I agree with
you got to see it through the Tony Stark lens.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. I'm not a purist who with any of the characters. I'm not a purist.
Yeah.
I gave that up after Iron Man 3 misled me with the Mandarin. So you know what?
That was tough.
If you get over that, Iron Man 3 is actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
But as a comics fan, I was fucking pissed the first time I saw that movie.
Yeah.
Well, Curse, by the way, I asked that.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. You're good. I have one last question actually, and I promise this will be the last one.
Here comes the zinger. Here's the setup.
No zinger.
Oh,
just
boy.
genuine question. Am I your favorite? I'm just kidding.
Yes. Whatever favorite anything. Yes.
Robert Pattinson.
Is he in the DC universe?
do you think he should be? We had this conversation after we walked out this movie. This movie makes me want it significantly more.
It made me want it significantly less.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because going into this movie, I love what Pattinson's Batman world is.
Yeah.
I love the world that Pattinson is in more than I love Pattinson as Batman, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. What the
I get
Penguin
that.
did was special.
I get that.
This world, I thought there could be Gotham,
Yeah.
because it has so much personality with what Matt Reeves did. And then Metropolis, clearly in the trailers, had so much personality with what James Gunn is doing. But with what James Gunn is doing, it feels like there is so much personality to this whole world. And it is comic bookish. It is cartoonish. It is not, I don't want to say campy, because I'm not a fan of like campy stuff. I
Yeah.
don't like over stuff. This felt like you brought a comic book to life. Whereas the Batman universe doesn't feel like that.
But you don't think that contrast?
So, in some ways, it does.
You don't think that contrast would make like? Because let's elephant room. Like, if they're gonna do like a Batman versus Superman, like an iteration of it, going forward.
I want World's Finest. Put them together. Make them work together.
I do. I mean, I do want that, but I think like that contrast of it is what makes whatever they do. I think that contrast of it is what would be so visually interesting and like story wise like interesting, and it could be the thing that does push, like we were talking about earlier. Now I've seen like David Cornsweet like do this phenomenal performance in this campy like comic book thing. I want to see him get pushed now because I want to see what his limits are, and I think putting him next to a Batman who is the complete opposite could do that.
It's a win-win because I think average moviegoers will be totally lost if there's two different Batmans.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be like, this is too much. I think
that moviegoers don't pay. They don't watch us. They don't read the geek media. They're not on Twitter consuming this stuff. Most of them, sure. People I talk to, my friends, everybody. We all feel we live in this bubble, and our friends who have similar interests as us, they're somewhere at least tangentially close to the bubble we are in with this stuff. But I think if you have two Batmans, people are going to be like, wait, I thought Robert Pattinson was Batman. Oh, he still is Batman, but there's a new Batman? I think it will confuse people. But so I would love a comic booky like Alan Richardson type, even if it's not Alan Richardson, but a guy who looks like Batman. He wants it so bad. Dude, I know he does. And I like Alan Richardson.
He deserves it.
By far the best part of Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and he's great in Jack Reacher. But like that sort of character playing Batman who's actually physically intimidating, because Robert Pattinson is not.
Yeah.
Like if I saw Robert Pattinson on the street, like, that dude clearly as Batman is trained to fight and he could kick my ass, but I would not be intimidated by seeing him. Yeah. Whereas if I saw Alan Richardson dressed as a bat, I would fucking run. Like, I'd be like, first of all, this guy's insane. He's dressed as a bat. If I saw Robert Pattinson, I'd be like, bro, why are you dressed like that? I'm going to go over here because it's kind of weird. But if I picked a fight with him, I'd lose.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Richardson, I wouldn't pick the fight. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, you wouldn't even. The thought there's no intrusive thought there.
No, you win before we fight, bro. I know, I lose both, but I don't even start the fight with the guy who looks like Richardson.
That's a good point. I
don't know. You can get a campy Gotham that's more comic accurate. You can get an actual Mr. Freeze. You can get a Penguin that's more. What they did with Penguin is amazing. You get a more comics accurate version of it if you do recast it for Brave and Bold. I'm still of the belief that we're getting worked and they are actually together. But I think before I saw Superman, I wanted it more.
Okay, I think I
still would be happy with either option.
I think from like a character growth perspective, and again, this is where like my like writing acting takes over more than like fan, like, because I agree with everything you're saying, but I just think it'd be so interesting for both those characters to get pushed on the complete opposite levels.
I mean, imagining them lined up in like a Justice League, like Pattinson's Batman, just given what we know about his character and the world he's coming from.
It would be hard though. Like to your point, it would not be as easy to be like, okay, well, yeah, the Batman 2 or Batman Part 2 is now DCU. Like, I don't think it's that easy because you're right. The world they built isn't built to be this world.
And I'm always of that. I hold the MCU to this accord. I criticize the MCU when this doesn't happen, so I'll do the same thing for this conversation. If Superman and all these other characters were out there, why is there not a single reference? Or like, why does nobody get involved in Gotham stuff? Now, Superman would not come fight a crime scene.
Yeah.
That's beneath Superman.
They do have a argument with that Batman Part 1 released 4 years ago? Almost 3 years ago? Could always say that he came now with this gap. You actually do have the benefit where it's believable to be like that all took place before Superman. I don't think there's a Superman reference. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
But in this movie, there's
did I miss something in this movie?
the very beginning.
There's a title, but there's just it was 3 years. Superman's been around for 3 years. I think that's like common knowledge.
Okay. So I guess.
So that's what I'm saying.
You could say Batman was there, but the Green Lantern, like they said,
that part
humans have been around.
Yeah, that part would be tough. But again, we haven't there's nothing in the Batman movie that signifies that doesn't exist.
I just imagine if Gotham was flooded,
someone would
the
come.
Justice Gang is rolling in, right?
Justice Gang is kind of a diva, though. They are very diva-ish to where they're like, there's something else we're doing.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Where was Peacemaker? I don't care. He wouldn't show up. He's kind of a dick.
There's a laundry list of questions.
You could poke holes in it. I'm honestly going to be. You could also it's not that important because what happened in Gotham, I think, is very small scale.
Yeah.
Where it's the same thing. With most Marvel movies, like Ironheart is going to go through her own issues, but you're not going to have Sam Wilson fly in and save the day. Yeah. He's busy doing Captain America stuff.
There's a great moment in Superman that kind of testifies, that goes alongside that where it's, I'm not going to go in spoilers, but there's a moment where they're expecting Superman can't be there.
Yeah.
But someone else came, and it's.
I thought for sure we were gonna get a moment in that movie where it was you were building the Superman thing, and then they didn't do it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't want to.
Well, oh man, I can't wait for the world to see this. I think I'm going to end it with this. I think the world needs a Superman movie like this, and then to have a Fantastic Four movie, which I think is going to be phenomenal, released right after it. This is a beautiful time to be a fan of these films.
Jurassic in July.
Jurassic World in July. It's movie theaters. Movie theaters are
and F1
going nuts. It's been a very good time. Well. Thank you, Brandon, so much.
This was fun.
Again, I think we are gonna find a children's hospital.
Hell yeah.
You mentioned one.
Vanderbilt Children's Hospital is in Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if they have a national thing, or maybe we'll donate it all to that hospital.
Hey man, that'd be cool.
We'll find
something.
Love
if you did. You don't need to take that. That's not. Do your thing.
No. This is all just about helping people.
I did a big fundraiser for Avengers Infinity War with the Vandy.
No, I'd love to do that. So yeah,
that'd be sweet. I love that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that for sure. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Again, your view, however long it was, if you're still listening, you've definitely helped. But you listening to this, us kind of geeking out about this and talking about our industry is truly what made the difference. So thank you guys. Thank you, Brandon. Go watch Superman. Tell us what you think. Do you want to say your handles? Do you want to plug your stuff? I didn't let you plug anything.
At Brandon Davis BD on pretty much every platform. At Brandon BD Davis on TikTok because the other one was taken. I host the Face Hero podcast, and you can see me wrestling on OVW every Thursday.
Oh yeah, I gotta come to one of your wrestling events.
Come on out.
If you're ever in Dallas wrestling, I'll be there. I promise you, I'll be there.
I'll do a match in Dallas because my sister's in Dallas, and she'll want to come to a show.
I promise you, I'll be there.
One of these days, I'll get out there. Once WWE calls me, they go to Dallas twice a year.
Yeah.
Maybe once
I'll be there.
Finally gives me a shot.
I'll be there. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you guys.